Welcome to week 3. This week's lesson is solving problems with decimal numbers. Week 3 objectives are understanding place values of decimal numbers, reading decimal numbers, rounding, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of decimal numbers, converting decimals to fractions, and last, converting fractions to decimals. Let's start by talking about the place value of decimal numbers. In week 1, we talked about the place value of whole numbers. And so the numbers to the left of the decimal, that's a whole number, so I have 333. The furthest, that's our hundreds. Then we have our tens and our ones. And that was week 1. So now we have the decimal. Anything to the right of the decimal, that's a number that is less than 1. So closest to the decimal, that's our tenths. Then we have hundredths, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. So again, tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. Okay, reading decimal numbers. When you have a decimal, you read the number after the decimal, so 2, and then you state the placeholder. So 2 tenths, 53 hundredths, 896 tens, hundreds, thousands, so 896 thousands. 253, but a placeholder would make that 10,000s. So 253 10,000s. 73,931, place value, tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Okay, so when we have a whole number, we read the whole number first. So in this case, 39. The decimal is stated using the word and, so 39 and. We state the decimal portion of the number, so 5,681. And then again, we look at the least place value, which is 10,000s. So 39 and 5,681 10,000s. Another one, 15 and 235 thousands. 325 and 26 hundredths. When we have a monetary amount, it gets read this way: $325 decimal and 26 addition of decimal numbers. The most important thing to remember is to align the numbers on the decimal point. When you have a whole number, your decimal is always after it. It's understood that the decimal would be after the whole number. Once you've aligned them, you're ready to add. Another best practice is to fill in the empty placeholders with 0. It makes it much easier to add and or when we subtract. So let's add a 0 here, 2 here. We'll place the decimal point. We'll give it 4 more zeros. Again, helps line things up. You could add zeros this direction. Since we don't have a whole lot of numbers, I'm going to leave it the way it is. So next step, 7 plus 6 is 13. Oh. So when we're adding, we place the decimal in the exact same position as it occurs. So we'll start by adding the decimal, and we're ready to add. 7 and 6 is 13. We place the 3. We carry the 1. 1 and 4 is 5. 5 and 6 is 11. 11 and 5 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 5 is 9. Plus 5 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 and 1 is 3. And 3 is 6. And 2 is 8. 5 and 8 is 13. Plus 2 is 15. We'll carry the 1. 7 and 1 is 8. Plus 6 is 14. carry the 1, and we have 6. Next up, subtraction of decimals. Again, aligning on the decimal point, adding the zeros, and we're ready to subtract. You can't subtract, so I'm coming over to the 5. I'm going to borrow 1. This becomes the 9 and moves over to the 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 5 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 4. Again, we can't take 5 from 0, so we're going to borrow. It becomes a 5. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 1 is 6. And again, we place the decimal in the exact same position. Multiplication of decimal numbers. When we multiply decimals, Next is multiplication of decimal numbers. And when we multiply decimal numbers, it is not necessary to align the decimal. And so we just start by multiplying. We're going to start with the ones. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 8 times 6 is 48 plus 1 is 49. Carry the 4. 5 times 6 is 30 plus the 4 is 34. I'm going to place a 0 to cover up the ones. Next is a tenths. So 4 times 3 is 12. 2, carry the 1. 4 times 8 is 32 plus the 1 is 33. Place the 3. Carry the other. 4 times 5 is 20 plus the 3, 23. Okay, placeholder for the ones now. Another one for the tenths. We're on the hundredths position. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 1 is 11. We add. We have 8. 9 and 2 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 and 4 is 5, plus 3 is 8. 8 and 6 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 and 3 is 4. 4 and 3 is 7. 7 and 6 is 13. Carry the 1. 1 and 2 is 3, plus another 1 is 4. And we have the 1. So now we replace the decimal. We count how many decimals were in our problem. So on the first number we had 2 decimal places. The second we had 3. So we have to move our decimal 5 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the decimal comes right between the 1 and the 4. Next is division of decimal numbers. And so when we have a decimal in the dividend, we simply move it up exactly in the same location. And we start dividing. So 4 goes into 4. One time we place it above the 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Do the subtraction. 4 minus 4 is 0. We bring down the 8. 4 can go into 8 2 times. Again, we place it right above the 8. 2 times 4 is 8. We do the subtraction. That's a 0. We bring down the 7. 4 goes into 7 one time, right above the number 7. 4 times 1 is 4. We do the subtraction. 7 minus 4 is 3. We bring down the 5. 4 goes into 35. 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. Again, we do the subtraction. We bring down the 0. That's a 30. I'm going to just move the 30 right over here so it's easy for us to continue. 4 can go into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Do the subtraction. 30 minus 28 is 2. Again, coming over, got to bring down my other 0. It's going to come right next to the 2 here. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Do the subtraction. Remainder 0. So again, when we have a decimal in the dividend, we just move it up and do the division. Let's try another one. This time, we have a decimal for the divisor, and we also have a decimal in the dividend. When we have a decimal in the divisor, we move it over 2 places, or the number of places till it gets so it's a whole number. So this becomes a 5. Since we moved it here 2 places, we have to take our decimal that's in our dividend and move it as well 2 places. And then we place it up where our answer or our quotient is going to be. So again, we moved it here 2 places, we have to move it here 2 places, and we move it up. So now we're ready to divide. 5 goes into 24 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. We do the subtraction. 24 minus 20 is 4. We bring down the 0. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. We do the subtraction. That's a 0. We bring down the next digit. Happens to be a 0. 5 can't go into 0. So we must put the 0 as a placeholder. If this next digit would have been a 3, it wouldn't have been enough. We would still put the 0 there as a placeholder and bring down the next number. Happens to be a 5. 5 can go into 5 one time. So 480.1. Division. So again, if you have a decimal in the divisor, when you move it to make it a whole number, you must move the decimal in the dividend the same number of places. Doing the subtraction, and we come up with the 0. Okay, converting decimals to fractions. Step 1. Place numbers that are left of the decimal point to the left of the fraction. Step 2. Place numbers to the right of the decimal point in the numerator of the fraction. Step 3. Make the denominator of the fraction the same place value on the far right. There's going to be that many zeros as our decimal places. And then 4, reduce to lowest terms. So let's look at 8.25. Step 1, place a number that is to the left of the decimal, so the whole number, place it to the left of the fraction. So again, we're converting decimals to fractions. So the whole number just stays. And we're really concentrating on the decimal point, which is less than 1, the 0.25. Step 2, place the number to the right of the decimals, the 25, as the numerator. And then make the denominator of the fraction the same as the place value on the far right. So place value on the far right is hundredths, and so 25 hundredths. And then, again, step 4, reduce to lowest terms. I can see that 25 will go into 100 4 times, so 25 goes into 25 one time, and it goes to 100 4 times. So, final answer, 8 1/4. The next one that I popped up a little early here. This time we have a decimal, which we don't have a whole number. So we're just concentrating on the decimal portion, and place the number that's right of the decimal as the numerator. So 35. This 0 doesn't need to come with us because 35 is the same as the number 35. However, it's important so we know the placeholder. This isn't 35 hundredths, but it's 35 thousandths. And again, reduce it to the lowest terms. I know that 5 can go into 35 7 times. And I know 5 can go into 1,000 200 times. So 7 over 200. So converting decimals to fractions. Last, converting fractions to decimals. So step 1, place whole numbers to the left of the decimal point. Divide the numerator by the denominator. If it does not divide exactly, round off to 3 decimal places, unless it's otherwise specified. So let's use 5 3/7. So place whole numbers to the left of the decimal point. So again, we're making this into a decimal, so 5 point. And we've got to change the fractional part, 3/7, into a decimal. So again, to do that, we divide the numerator by the denominator. So 3 divided by 7. 7 cannot go into 3, so we add a 0. And again, placing the decimal right where it would be, so right after the whole number. 7 does go into 30, goes in 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. We do the subtraction. 30 minus 28 is 2. We add another 0. We bring it down. 7 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. We do the subtraction. 20 minus 14 is going to be 6, but we have to borrow. That's going to be a 10. And 6. We add another 0. We bring it down. 7 goes into 60. Goes in 8 times. 7 times 8 is 56. We do the subtraction. 60 minus 56 is 4. We bring down another 0. 7 goes into 40. 5 times. 7 times 5 is 35. We really don't even have to finish the math here because remember it says 3 decimals unless otherwise specified. So we took it out to 4 so we could round. And so again, we want to take it out 3 places. So there's our thousand. So 8. We look, it's a 5, so we make this a 9. So 5.429. Tips for a successful week. Do not procrastinate. Log in each day. Complete all the reading assignments. If you run into any trouble, watch the videos again. They're excellent tutorials. Submit this week's assignments by Sunday. Contact me. I'm here to help. Let me help you cross that finish line. Happy calculating. Have a great week, everyone.